Ja, lekker. Zo, op elkaar de sigaretten. Ik blijf wel naar het doen. Ik kan niet goed. En dan weer goed. Also, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Evet. Sabbath. Right. 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 You. Yeah. Here. Oh, That's it. Right. All right, this is the Israelites full of universal practical knowledge and the command of General Yana. Right, start the 1 West, 125th Street out of New York. Since 1969, we've been teaching the truth about the Bible that the black man, Hispanic man, Native Indian man, and child, and the biblical truth, the true biblical truths of the Bible. All right, this is the ISUPK Sabbath Service in Trinidad here. All right, you have the tester. Un momento, por favor. So, La Yashal, which means to Israel. So, Lapanya Podam, so which means the turn. Is this, right? Let's pray the Hebrew first. Abanao, Shabashamai, Wadash, Ya, Shaka, Yahweh, Malapaka, Zaka, Ya, Aisha, Maratiza, Wa, Ya, Shemai, Tanalaw, Ka, Wam, Masalat now, what now, Salat now, what now, now, say one, Bob, shine, yeah, right, yeah, Malakwa, Mahala, Malamia, in the English. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, thy kingdom come, thy will be done. In earth, as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it. I pray for the power in Hebrew. Yahweh, Hashem, our Shai, Tananawa, Zaria, in the English, Lord, in the name of Yahweh, please give us the power. To heal all manner of sickness, all manner of disease, power to cleanse the leper, power to raise the dead, power against unclean spirits, cast them out. In the name of Yahweh. Thank you. So be it.
pray to bless Israel in the Hebrew. Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Hashem Yahushai. Barak Lenam. Inshallah. Yeah. Mario. Hashem. Hoshai.
In English, Lord, in the name of Yahweh. Bless us.
Bless
And Israel. And the school. In the name of Yahweh. Thank you.
So be it. Psalms 121 in the Hebrew. Ashah. Yani. Alahari. Yan. Isaiah. Mine. Yahweh. Aisha. Shemayim. Awad. Galka. Ali Nawam. Shmarka. Na. La'a. Nawam. La'a. Ayasham. Shawama. Shah. Yahweh. Shmarka. Yahweh. Zalka. Yad. Mirka. Yawmam. Shamash. Ayaka. Maria. Alayam. Yahweh. Shmarka. Arak. Shema. Akabashka. Yahweh. Shema. Zaka. Boa'aka. Aid. Awalam.
In the English, I will lift up my eyes. Of whence cometh my help? My help cometh from the Most High, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not stumble. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither stumble nor sleep. The Most High is thy keeper. The Most High is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. The Most High shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. Most High shall preserve thy going out. And coming in from this time forth. And even forevermore.
Psalm 33 in Hebrew. Alahai. Al-Damayalaka. Al-Karash. Al-Shakwa. Al-Kayakana. Al-Yabika. Al-Mayawat. Mashnayim. Yaka. Sha'awa. Salaki. Ash. Alamaka. Ibrahim. Yahwa. Sawadya. Aitas Awa. Aitas Bawalika. Awa. Walakakidam. Dawi. Saka. Shamyashar. Aiwad Tayahana. Salaki. Aiwad Tayah. Aitas Awa. Lab Yakanwa. Alika. Maria. Rakwa. Ali. Nawam. Yashmai. Alahaya. Salaki. Washamai. Alayam. Bawaaba. Algari. Bal. Aimawan. Aimala. Alashat. Amishabya. That's a war. Damashawo. Nawa. Imam. Wa. Sarawai. Vanilla. Awat. Salat. Aisha. Amaya. Asasa. Yabya. Anakaha. Yashua. Shamarwa. Ayan. Ayawa. Man. Dama. Shayatamo. Dama. Raki. Nadayamawa.
Nadab Yama.
Yapawa.
Yeah.
Wakahaba. Salaki. Wakazahaba. Wakazaba. Wakatazal Manai. Kana Siyaka Mwa. Asha. Amawa. Narasha. Nawa. Akmarawat. Alahayam. Alahaya. Shayatamo. Galgala. Takwash. Apanya. Waka. Ash. Ira. Wakalahaba. Alaha. Arayam. Kanga Wadakma. Masairaka. Masa. Paka. Tabahalam, Malaa, Panyam, Palawat, Ayapakwashwa, Shabka, Hawa, Yabashwa, Yabahalwa, Ayai, Oyakapawa, Oyabarwa, Oyadaiwa, Aya, Ata, Shabka, Hawa, Bata, Ayawan, Alkala, Arakisa.
In English, keep not thou silence.
Keep not thou silent.
Almost high.
Almost high.
Hold not thy peace.
Hold not thy peace.
And be not still.
Be not still.
Almost high.
Almost high. Follow.
Thy enemies.
Make
Make it them out.
it them out.
And they that hate thee
They that hate thee
have lifted up their head.
lift up their head.
They have taken crafty counsel against thy people.
Against thy people.
And consulted
Consult
against thy hidden ones.
against thy hidden
They
ones.
have said, come,
Come,
let us cut them off.
let us cut them off.
Being a nation.
Being a nation.
And the name of Israel.
Name of
May
Israel.
we no more in
We
remembrance.
no more in remembrance.
They have consulted together
They have consulted together.
with one consent.
One consent.
They are confederate against it.
Against the
The tabernacles of Edom
tabernacles of Edom.
and the Ishmaelites
And the Ishmaelites.
of Moab
Moab.
and the Hagarenes, Gibal
Moab.
and Ammon
Ammon.
and Amalek
Amalek.
and Philistines,
Philistines.
the inhabitants of Tyre,
The inhabitants of Tyre.
and Syria
Asur.
also is joined with them.
Also joined with them.
They have conquered
All
the children of Lot,
children of Lot.
Selah,
Lot.
one to them,
One of them.
as unto the
As
Midianites,
unto the Midianites.
as to Syria,
As to Sarah.
as to Jabin,
As to Jabin.
at the brook of the sun,
The brook of Kisor.
which perished and ended.
Which perished at the end
They
of.
have become as dung for you.
Came us down for the earth.
Make their nobles
Make the numbers.
like Oreb,
Correct.
like Zeb,
Let's say.
and Ye,
Yea.
all their princes,
All the princes.
as Zebah, as Luna,
Nazar.
who said,
Who said.
let us take to ourselves
Take to ourselves.
the house of the Most High
Out of the most
in
high.
possession.
In possession.
O my God,
Oh my God.
make them like a weed,
Make them like a wind.
as stubble before the wind,
Stumble before the wind.
as the fire burneth the wood,
As the fire burneth the wood.
and as the flame
And as the place.
set to the mountains on fire.
To the mountains of
So persecute them
So persecute
with thy
them.
tempest,
With thy tempest.
and with thy Salakia, with thy tempest, and make them afraid,
Make them afraid.
with thy storm.
Thy store.
Fill their faces with
Fill
shame,
their faces with shame.
that they may seek thy name,
They may see thy
O
name.
Most High,
O Most High.
and they be confounded
And they be
and
confounded.
troubled
And troubled.
forever.
Forever.
Yea,
Yea.
let them be put to shame
And they be put to shame.
and perish.
And perish.
And we know
When we know.
that thou,
Thou.
whose name alone is
His
Yahweh,
name alone is Yahweh.
and the Most High,
The Most High.
of our days.
All years.
So the clue says, blessed are you, Yahweh,
Let's say Yahweh.
King of heaven and
King
earth,
of heaven and earth.
and all things living.
All things living.
Yahweh,
Yahweh.
in the name of
The
Yahweh,
name of Yahweh.
listen to us now,
Listen to us now.
right now.
Right now.
Evils and
The
curses,
evils and curses.
punishment and destruction.
Punishment and
To
destruction.
the heathen,
The heathen.
that speak against us,
Speak against
like prophets, the teachers,
the teacher.
the princes,
The prince.
the priests,
The priest.
the Israelite brothers,
Israelite brother.
and the school.
And the
The evils and
the
curses,
evils and
and
curses.
punishment and destruction.
Punishment and destruction. The heathen.
And shake loose
And shake loose.
the treasure of the rich of Israel,
The rich of Israel.
that refuse to give to the school.
Refuse to give to the school.
Force their riches,
Force the riches.
enter into thy sanctuary.
Enter into thy sanctuary.
Evils and curses,
The evils and
and
curses.
punishment and destruction.
And punishment and
To
destruction.
the Edomites,
The Edomites.
to the nation,
The nation.
and their drug dealers,
The drug dealer.
the court system, the prison system,
Prison system.
Planned Parenthood,
Plan for
all
all
the governments of our
the
enemies,
governments of our enemies.
Amalek synagogues and armies,
Amalek synagogues and
the
armies.
Roman Catholic Church,
Roman Catholic Church.
Pope, Islam,
Islam.
Christianity,
Christianity.
Egyptology,
Egyptology.
militia,
Militia.
Islam,
Islam.
Aryan nation,
Aryan nation.
skinheads,
Skinhead.
Komatans,
Kumatas.
gay movement,
Gay movement.
lesbian movement,
Lesbian movement.
spies,
Spy.
focus on witchcraft,
Witchcraft.
NASA space program,
Space program.
army,
Navy.
Navy, Air Force,
Air Force.
Marines,
Marines.
Wall Street,
Wall Street.
on the internet,
All of the internet.
and the areas,
And the airway.
cable access channel,
Cable access.
and the radio channel.
And the religion.
Convict the spirit,
Convict the spirit.
many of thy people,
Many of thy
that seek to stop us,
to stop
bring
us.
swift destruction,
Bring swift destruction.
all the evil,
All the
that
evil.
stand in the way,
Stand in the
or
way.
try to stop us,
Try to stop us.
from casting your loads,
Don't touch the
on the
old.
planet Earth,
On the planet.
that this all the place,
All the place.
cause them to go to and fro,
Cause them to go to and
through the earth,
to the earth.
and consume them,
And consume
that
them.
the plagues,
The place.
shake the house of the
Teach
teeth,
the house of the people.
and the murderer,
And the murder.
Yahweh Shai,
The Amashah.
Micah,
Michael.
and Gabriel,
Gabriel.
come down with flying
Some of the
saucers,
flying saucers.
punish all the evil,
Punish all the
and come
evil.
up against us,
Come up
and
against.
speak thy word,
And speak thy word.
was to be known
Was to be known
by all,
by all.
that is the angel
This is the angel
that has done it,
that done it.
was to be spread
Was to be spread.
to the media,
With media.
on the whole
The
world,
whole world.
was to shake and
Was to shake at the
in
company.
the name of Yahweh.
The name of Yahweh.
Thank you.
Thank you always.
So be it.
So be it. Sir. Which means turn, and then Yeshavia, which means to sit. Then from good. I won't be we don't hear the regular. We don't do regular. No, no, stop it. You are the regular. You stop it. Good. Yeah, we do. No, good. Okay, let me review. My apologies. Right. Right, so we did from Exodus chapter 21 and verse 32. Right?
I'll check this screen to see the line up.
For sure. Right? To the Talmud, to the more. Lower the screen, but right. You want that first.
Right?
Yeah, this one's a lot. Right, now the straight. Yeah, for sure. Right. No, the book. The book platform. Right. Push the black one below with more alpha. Right. Raise to the gamma. Not to the back to this. Right. Again, nice. Start a little bit. Right. Go on. Yeah. Sure. Right. Or let to what again, which means thanks, right, for tuning in. Where unlike like, share share comments over the cases. This is not really a class, so do really answer question. Then this one to what? You don't really answer question, but leave the comments them inside there, and you see if you can still plug in accordingly as you read it. Right? So this they call it ancient Hebrew here. Here we read it, right? That's different type of language. That's the language that Moses, Christ, and them would have speak in the Bible, right? This is the language of how we talk. This is black people language. All right.
The reading from the book of Exodus, chapter 21. The book of Exodus, chapter 21 and verse 31. Awa, Bana, Yakaka, Awa, Batha, Yakaka, Kama, Shabata, Haaya, Yaai, Wa, Lawa, Ama, Abada, Yagaka, Hasha, Wara, Awa, Amaha, Kasaipa, Shalawa, Yama, Shakwa, Layam, Yathana, La'a, Danaya, Waha, Shawara, Yasa, Pala, was 33. Wakaya, Yapa, Thaka, Ayasha, Bawara, Awa, Kaya, Yaka, Ra, Ayasha, Bara, Wala'a, Yaka, Sanawa, Wana, Pala, Shama, Wayara, Awa, Kama, Wara, Ba'ai, Haba Wara, Yashal Lama, Kasaipa, Yasha Yaba, Laba Aila Yawa, Waha Matha, Yaha Lawa, Wakaya, Yagapa, Shawara, Ayasha, Atha, Shawara, Ra'ai, Hawa, Wamata, Wama, Karawa, Atha, Ashawara, Hakai, Wakataza, Atha, Kasa, Hawa, Wagama, Matha, Hamatha, Yakataza, Wana, was 36. Awa, Nawa, Da'ai, Kaya, Shawara, Nagaka, Hawa'a, Matha, Mawala, Shala, Shama, Wala, Yasha, Mara, Nawa, Ba'aila, Yawa, Shalama, Yasha, Lama, Shawara, Takatha, Hasha, Wara, Waha, Matha, Yaha, Lawa, was 37. Kaya, Yaga, Naba, Ayasha, Shawara, Awa, Shaha, Wa'ai, Yakawa, Awa, Maka, Rawa, Kama, Sha, Makwar, Yasha, Lama, Taka, Asha, Wara, Ra, Bai, Taza, Ana, Takata, Hawa.
Right? Exodus chapter 21 and verse 31. Now, reading from the English, right? Right? Whether he have born a son or have born a daughter, according to this judgment shall it be done unto him. Verse 32. If the ox shall push slackly, a manservant or maidservant, he shall give unto their master 50 shekels of silver, and the ox shall be stoned. Verse 33. And if a man shall open a pit, or if a man shall dig a pit, and not cover it, and an ox or an ass fall therein, verse 34, the owner of the pit shall make it good, and give money unto the owner of them, and the dead beast shall be his. Verse 35, and if one man's ox hurt another's, that he die, then they shall sell the live ox, and divide the money of it, and the dead ox also they shall divide. Verse 36, or if it be known that the ox had used to push in time past, and his owner hath not kept him in, he shall surely pay ox for ox, and the dead shall be his own.
After right on to the
7.
yeah, also right on to the 7. Is it?
Yeah. Right, man. Diablo. Right, minor. Right, but there's touching on what the scripture saying there, they always had a way to deal with how to deal just basically in the nation. So man do have animals running about the place, people are just getting damaged and nobody paying for it, nobody making a recompense, or nobody at least putting something in place so that they know, okay, if this happens, they go have a penalty to pay. So make sure that you have them things in order basically, right? But the way how the society is run, you don't see that. So everybody thinking that the Bible now, in fact, they don't know what in the Bible says. It's just because we read it here now, you can now understand now what really did. But other than that, this is not taught nowhere else. Right? Are you going to touch on it? No, la. All right. We're going to read on with you good. So what? Right? All right. Continue reading from the book of Exodus, chapter 22, reading from verse 1. Ama Bamaka Tarata Yama Taza Haga Naba Waha Kaha Wamatha Ayana Lawa Ama Yama Ama Ira Kaha Hasha Masha Aila Yawa Dama Yama Lawa Shalama Yasha Lama Ama Ayana Lawa Warama Kara Baga Naba Tawa Ama Hamataza Tama Taza Baya Dawa Haga Nabaha Basha Wara Aida Kama Wara Aida Sha Kaya Yama Shana Yama Yashalama was 4. Kaya Yaba Ira Ayasha Shada Awa Karama Yashalaka Atha Ba'ai Yara Waba Ira Rasha Da Akar Maya Aiba Shada Yawa Wama Ya Aiba Kara Maiwa Mawa Yasha Lama was 5. Kaya Taza Taza Asha Wamataza Aha Pataza Yama Wahathala Gada Washa Awa Akwa Maha Awa Hasha Da Shalama Yasha Lama Yama Ba'aira Atha Haga Ira was 6. Kaya Yathana Ayasha Alara Ayahawa Tasha Pa Ayat Kalayama Lawa Mara Yaga Naba Mabayatha Ha'a Yasha Ama Yamataza Haga
Naba, Yasha Lama, Shana, Yawam, with 7. Ama La'a, Yamataza, Haga, Naba, Waya, Para, Ba, Para, Ba'ai, Yaba, Yata, Allah, Ha'a, Lahaya, Ama, La'a, Salaka, Yatawa, Mamala, Akata, Ra'ai, Hawa.
Right? Book of Exodus chapter 22 and verse 1. If a man shall steal an ox or a sheep, if a man shall steal an ox or a sheep and kill it or sell it, he shall restore 5 oxen for an ox, and 4 sheep for a sheep. Verse 2. If a thief be found breaking up and be smitten, that he die, there shall no blood be shed for him. Verse 3. If the sun be risen upon him, there shall be blood shed for him, for he should make full restitution. If he have nothing, then he shall be sold for his theft. Verse 4. If the theft be certainly found in his hand alive, whether it be ox or ass or sheep, he shall restore double. Verse 5. If a man shall cause a field or vineyard to be eaten, and shall put in his beasts, and shall feed in another man's field, of the beasts of the best of his own field, and of the best of his own vineyard, shall he make restitution. Verse 6. If fire break out and catch in thorns, so that the stacks of corn, or the standing corn, or the field be consumed therewith, he that kindled the fire shall surely make restitution. Verse 7. If a man shall deliver unto his neighbor money or stuff to keep, and it be stolen out of the man's house, if the thief be found, let him pay double. Now you see, if you was catching exactly what's happening, hopefully the audio coming good and all that, if you catch exactly what's going on, you see how the Lord now put things in place, right, that you would deal fair and just with your neighbor. If this happens, this is what going and take place, right? Now the spirit is what we're supposed to know and how we're supposed to deal to say, okay, of course, this makes sense, this is just, right, to make sure, okay, if this happens, right, I will make sure and understand that the person get paid, because I know what happened to me. Next thing too, a man can play smart, a man playing right now. That is the code. Basically today, that is how the society operating. Because a man now taking, like other people be so many cases. But saying I trying to play smart for this man here, and I'm gonna take my visa and eat on Elan. Right? So now we're gonna hear they catch you doing that here one. You go to stand, get the man the best of your, since you want to play right and since you want to play all the time, and then days are going to you go now, you fall and give that man the best of your field, because don't play right field, yeah, you want field, make sure the way how to do. Don't take your animal to want to eat up, so what are you feel now? How your animal them go survive? And there's a whole lot of wickedness to make sure that you keep out, because I'm sure that is the things that we would have picked up in Egypt. Unless the Lord will not listen, you will not touch on that and tell China and Israel basically don't do this. Okay. Yeah, and the same thing happening now with we in America. In today's society, in Babylon, in the Caribbean, and Central America, and South America, whatever. Because that is what we have to now come back and teach a man now, hey, you can't operate this way. This is not how you're supposed to live. That is not the way of a human being or a person. That is not how to make sure society run in an orderly fashion, basically. Right? So we don't do them things, and let's go back, and bring it back the understanding of what's supposed to be taking place. So a man will get marbles correct, a man will get marbles correct, you follow? And then this is how to be civil, basically. So if you want to touch on anything. All right. We will continue reading. Right? Continue reading, right? And again, if you have let's now explain to me how the Shabbat is Saturday. The Lord said the 6th day, right? Before it didn't have a name of the day, but 6th day basically this. Everybody at that time had no common sense in this. This is day 1, this is day 2, this is day 3, day 4. You come and meet it so. Nobody come. It's only the so-called person, so-called white man. He come and change up the times and laws and all that. You know that the day start from sunset. From sundown to sundown is a new day. So a lot of stuff, you understand, we didn't know about Saturday and January. And no. It's what the Lord said. It's the first day, the second day, the seventh day, that is up. You understand? That is what we know. Other than that, you understand, you didn't make nothing. You didn't make no days. And that is what we're supposed to live by. Every time this is what going on here, this is what it is. When the sun, nobody is going up in the sky and pull out the moon and say, oh, the moon can't function the way it functions. We do that. Every time we meet here, we just come and operate with it the same way. So nobody's to touch nothing and think like what they don't say, don't remove the posts or something like that. Something like that. As they say, don't move the goalposts. You then put our goalposts there, leave it right here. As they come and find it, that is how it's supposed to be. Stop that.
Even as I say, not it's not a question. Yeah, so we cannot come out and not get sent the not get sent give. Right, so we have where even when we start the rulership of the youth, we have the beginning of the year, right? Which is basically the beginning of the year, right? This normally called it, I think it's springtime. So the springtime is the beginning of the year, right? So when the so-called black man, Native Indian man, and Hispanic man is in charge of the youth, that is what we're going to be counting with this, right? The beginning of the year is springtime, and that will be the first day coming down to the second day, as the boxer tax was bringing out, and when we reach the seventh day, right, is the day of rest, and going to the cycle going to continue. That's exactly what it is. Now, I guess it is, right? So we're not here to be in argument or in contention, but then you need to understand that these men of the Lord have put in the work, right, and set the standard of the things that the Most High requires, right, which is what we practice now. Today is the Sabbath day, and then additional stuff to learn, which is the other laws, commandments, and statutes that the so-called black man needs to put on as his culture to please the Most High, right? Because we're not trying to follow one law and run to and fro arguing about that law. And it have many other laws that they need to come and sit and learn to understand how we should conduct this, right? That the law against adultery, against homosexuality, and stuff like that, right? Drug addiction and so forth. These is the laws we need to put within ourselves and put away the other things, right? And get the spirit right and pleasing to the Most High, so the so-called black man, Native Indian man can rule the planet. That's what we are about here, the ISUPK. Bringing heaven back on earth, right? So,
for me, touch on it is in also because that real heavy in terms of it's so far removed from people understanding that is what we say to the Most High, living how we're supposed to live with each other, you understand? And doing the things that everybody say will ensure that the society don't have no problems. You don't have no unnecessary thing where, you know what I mean, you're doing something out of pocket, you know what I mean, you're smoking drugs, you know what I mean, you're thieving, you know what I mean, homosexuality, all them different things that you wouldn't be doing because that does not contribute to proper living, that society running how it's supposed to run, right? So we're saying it's absolutely important for people to understand because the religious leaders let us to believe or lie to us and tell us, right, that pleasing the Most High is something personal. It's some kind of mystical thing. It's some kind of feeling right? It's some kind of feeling where you and God and some kind of personal thing where He alone knows it and you're not expressing that to nobody else, nobody feeling that. When really actually He did not keep God have taken you up no way and put you in some dimension or some bubble some way. He put you among people and it's to live accordingly by doing what it is you're supposed to do according to these rules here. Where your leaders are telling you, that to not obey this, that this is not relevant. When the Lord put it there for that particular reason, these men and them leading you to destruction, not because you don't see them falling in a pit or they getting crumpled up or some kind of thing happening to them one time, doesn't mean you follow that. It doesn't have a judgment for that. In other words, some things is to do and some things is not to do. You have to be comfortable now, coming back to really and truly, as the Lord right here, this is what to follow. There's nothing else, nothing nowhere else He say to do. Where it is you could show me, where it is you could pull from, where it is the Lord saying, do this too. No, He gave me the instruction, and on top of that, He's showing that this is what is work. That is the most important thing that a man and woman need to catch, especially Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian. Right? So when you're ready, you can just read on
the book of Exodus, reading from the book of Exodus, chapter 22, reading from verse 8. Allah, Dabara, Bashar, Ayla, Shawara, Ayla, Ayla, Kamawara, Ayla, Shaha, Ayla, Salah, Maka, Maha Salakia, Ayla, Kala, Abba Daha, Ashara, Ya Amara, Kaya, Hawa'a, Aiha, Aiba, Ha'a, Laha, Yama, Yaba'a, Dabara, Shana, Yahama, Awara, Yara, Shaya, Aina, Allah, Hayama, Wasalama, Shana, Yama, Lara, Ihawa, verse 9, Kaya, Yatan, Ayasha, Allah, Ra'ai, Hawa, Kamawar, Awa, Shawara, Awa, Shoha, Wakala, Baha, Maha, Lasha, Mara, Wamatha, Awa, Nasha, Bara, Awa, Nasha, Baha, Ayana, Ra'a, Sabah, Aita, Yaha, Yahawa, Tahat, Yaha, Bayan, Shana, Yahama, Yahama, Ama, La'a, Shalaka, Yadaw, Mamala, Akatha, Ra'ai, Hawa, Wala, Kwaka, Ba'ai, Layawa, Wala, Yasha, Lama, Wa'ama, Ganaba, Yaga, Naba, Ma'ai, Mawa, Yasha, Lama, Laba, Ayla, Yawa, Ama, Aibab, Yatha, Rapa, Yaba, Ahawa, Aida, Ha'ai, Rapa, La'a, Yashalama, Yashalama, Istatil, Wakwai, Yawala, Ayasha, Ma'ai, Ma'ai, Ra'ai, Hawa, Wana, Shabara, Awa, Mata, Ba'ala, Yawa, Ayan, Aimawa, Salama, Yawa Lama. Verse 14. Ama, Ba'ai La Yawa, Aimawa, Allah, Salakia, La'a, Hosha, Lama, Ama, Shaka, Yara, Hawa'a, Ba'a, Basha, Haraw.
Right, the book of Exodus chapter 22 and verse 8. If the thief be not found, then the master of the house shall be brought unto the judges to see whether he hath put his hand unto his neighbor's goods. Verse 9, for all manner of trespass, whether it be fox, whether it be for ox, for ass, for sheep, for raiment, or for any manner of lost thing, which another challengeth to be his, the cause of both parties shall come before the judges, and whom the judges shall condemn, he shall pay double unto his neighbor. Verse 10, if a man deliver unto his neighbor an ass or an ox or a sheep or any beast to keep, and it die or be hurt or driven away, no man seeing it. Verse 11, then shall an oath of the Lord be between them both, that he had not put his hand unto his neighbor's goods, and the owner of it shall accept thereof, and he shall not make it good. And he shall not make it good. Slack. Right? Verse 12, and if it be stolen from him, he shall make restitution unto the owner thereof. Verse 13, if it be torn in pieces, then let him bring it for witness, and he shall not make good that which was torn. Verse 14, and if a man borrow aught of his neighbor, and it be hurt or die, the owner thereof being not with it, he shall surely make it good. Right, again, our next rules showing you exactly what going on. If you touch, you understand, your neighbor thing, your brother thing, your sister thing, whatever the case is, you'll pay the penalty for it because you ain't supposed to do that. Right? It shows you the exact judgment. They catch you doing that, they do so, and they bring the cause, the matter, whatever the case before. If I feel, you understand that my brother takes something from me or sister takes something from me, I bring it before the judges, and then a line of questioning come in, and then they decide, okay, what really actually was the cause. If there are no mischief, you understand, no foul play in it, well then of course you understand nothing happened. If there's something in that happened there, then according to as they say, that is the penalty that must be paid. Right? So it have a justice system on the planet. Again, we just not accustomed to it because the oppressor, you understand, is treat us as nothing. Name second class citizens as basically as nothing. So he accustomed getting away with stuff, so we do already know what justice look like. But this is what basically justice would look like. So again, it is as the talk is go, prevention better than cure. Go ahead if you're not laughing. Right? So, right, so let's read on with the Hebrew and then go ahead and
The book of Exodus, chapter 22, continuing from verse 15. Wakaya, Yapath, Saha, Ayasha, Batha, Wallah, Ashara, La'a, Ara, Shah, Arasha, Lasha, Kaba, Aimah, Mahara, Ya Salaki, Yama, Hara, Naha, Lawa, La Asha, Ama, Ma'ana, Yama Ana, Abba, Ya Abba, Abaya, Latha, Taha, Lawa, Kasapa, Yasha, Pala, Kama, Hara, Haba, Tawala, Tha, Makwa, Shapa, La'a, Taka, Yaha, Kala, Watha, Kaba, Aima, Baha, Maha, Mawa, Tha, Yawa, Matha, Aibaka, La'a, Laha, Yama, Yaka, Rama, Malathaya, Laya, Hawayaha, Yahawa, Laba, Dawa, verse 20. Wagara, La'a, Tawa, Naha, Wala, Tala, Pataza, Nawa, Kaya, Gara, Yama, Kaya, Yatama, Ba'a, Kwa, Salakia, Ba'a, Pataza, Mataza, Kwayam, Kala, verse 21, Salakia, Kala, Alama, Naha, Waya, Tawam, La'a, Ta'ai, Nawan.
Book Exodus chapter 22 and verse 15. Right? But if the owner thereof be with it, he shall not make it good. If it be an hired thing, it came for his hire. Verse 16. And if a man entice a maid that is not betrothed, and lie with her, he shall surely endow her to be his wife. Verse 17. If her father utterly refuse to give her unto him, he shall pay money according to the dowry of virgins. Verse 18. Thou shalt not suffer a witch to live. Verse 19. Whosoever lied with a beast shall surely be put to death. Verse 20. He that sacrificeth unto any god, save unto the Most High power only, he shall surely be utterly destroyed. Verse 21. Thou shalt neither vex a stranger nor oppress him, for ye were strangers in the land of Egypt. Right? You touch anything there? Or?
Yeah, Salakia, you cannot come. Right? So we're reading the culture and the history of the Israelites, the real Jews, the so-called Black Native Indians and Hispanics today. Right? We'll be reading through here the laws, commandments, and statutes that the Most High gave us. That is why we say to the so-called black man that the Bible, it is not a religious book. This is the constitution of the so-called black man. Right? This is what this bloodline of people is going to use to run the planet. So we see our government structure today, right? And they're promoting lesbianism, right? Witchcraft, child molestation, for example, in the Muslim religions and so forth. We will be using the laws, commandments, and statutes of the Most High to run the earth, right? This is the laws that the government, right, of Christ, right? The so-called blacks, Native Indians, and Hispanics will be using to run the planet. This is basically what we read and truth, right? When they have issues with animals, when they have issues with persons, different circumstances, what is the laws, the judgments, and the rules, right, that we already have in place. So it's showing that Christ, the government of Christ, is alive and well today, right? The rules for the government of the kingdom of Christ, of the Most High, it is already here, right? The Lord requires the so-called black man to get himself in that posture, as we say, or position of leadership, right? And before that should happen, the so-called black man need to put on that clothing of righteousness, which means we should be a people that is already governing ourselves with the law of the Most High. When we can govern ourselves with the law of the Most High, then we will be now in a position to govern the earth with the laws that we already have put on. Right? So Scripture said that the law is for the lawless. The governments of Christ, the 144,000 that he will establish as the ruling government, will already have on this law. Right? So this law is going to be now for the earth, not for the ones that keep the law, because we have already submitted ourselves to the law. Now we are going to enforce this law upon the planet. And that is what we are about today in the ISUPK and the Commanding General, which is doing the work of the Most High Power and establishing the kingdom of Christ until our King Yahushua returns and set all things in order. And then the kingdom will start going forward from this. So that I only put add it.
I in the board, what's it? Didn't say that. All right. So when they get chance again, we continue.
All right, right. Continuing the reading from the book of Exodus, chapter 22. I'm reading from verse 22. Ama Aina, Ta'ai, Naha, Athawa, Kaya, Amataza, Aikwa, Yataza, Aikwa, Alai, Shammai, Asha, Ma'ai, Taza, Aikwa, Tawa, Waka, Raha, Apai, Waya, Raga, Taya, Atha, Pama, Baka, Rabba, Wahayawa, Nasha, Yakam, La'a, Salakia, Allah, Mana, Watha, Waba, Naya, Kama, Yatha, Mayam, Amma, Kasaha, Tala, Waha, Atha, Aimai, Atha, Ha'ainaya, Amma, La'a, Taha, Yaha, Lawa, Kana, Shaha, La'a, Tawa, Yama, Waha, Wana, Aila, Yawa, Nashaka, Ama, Kabal, Ta, Kabala, Wala, Mata, Ra'aika, Aida, Ba'a, Fasha, Masha, Tasha, Yaba, Nawa, Lawa, Kaya, Hawai'a, Kasa, Wataha, Laba, Daha, Hawa'a, Wama, Latawa, La'ai, Rawa, Wama, Yasha, Kwaba, Waha, Yaha, Taya, Yataza, Aikwa, Alai, Wasa, Ma'ai, Taya, Kaya, Kana, Wana, Anai, Allah, Ya, Salakia, Hayama, La'a, Takwa, La, Yana, Shaya, Ba'ai, Maka, La'a, Da'ara, verse 28. Mala, Atta, Wada, Ma'aika, La'a, Ta'akar, Baka, Wara, Bayaya, Salakia, Banaya, Ka, Ta, Tana, Laya. And that was 28.
Book of Exodus chapter 22 and verse 23. If thou afflict them, from 22?
From 21
28
to 28.
Salakia, right? Book of Exodus chapter 22 and verse 21. Thou shalt neither vex a stranger nor oppress him, for ye were strangers in the land of Egypt. Verse 22. Ye shall not afflict any widow or fatherless child. Verse 23. If thou afflict them in any wise, and they cry at all unto me, I will surely hear their cry. Verse 24. And my wrath shall wax hot, and I will kill you with the sword, and your wives shall be widows, and your children fatherless. Verse 25. If thou lend money to any of my people that is poor by thee, thou shalt not be to him as an usurer, neither shalt thou lay upon him usury. Verse 26. If thou at all take thy neighbor's raiment to pledge, thou shalt deliver it unto him by that the sunset goeth down. Verse 27. For that is his covering only, it is his raiment for his skin, wherein shall he sleep. And it shall come to pass, when he cried unto me, that I will hear, for I am gracious. Verse 28. Thou shalt not revile the gods, nor curse the ruler of thy people. Right? Just want to touch on this there real quick. So the Lord showing you again, you know, me now to really actually think about somebody else then, because that is what he had to shape up at the children of Israel coming out of Egypt. Now that is the culture and the society. Back then and the same thing now, but much worse. Right? Because everything is now what I feel it immediately, but not thinking about if you really actually understand that really actually that's how I learned to do also. I'm sure of that, right? If you understand that by you operating in a manner that pleasing to the Most High, it is safeguarding as well. It's also a protection for you. So by you operating as the officer was saying this now in your culture, Officer Kumar saying this now, in your culture, really actually it is supposed to go right around and circle back and benefit you itself. So by you giving this thing out, that's the same way that the principle of sowing, where you're sowing it is reap. Because that is what the Lord was trying to establish on the planet before. Right before we get polluted by the ways the Egyptians and them, and now by the Americans and them. They follow by the so-called white man, the oppressor. Because that now you understand have us in this condition that we're in. That is a direct result of it. A man might say, hey, but the white man can take my stuff, or he shoot my neighbor, or he, you know what I mean, he unalive my cousin. But really and truly is because that his culture, we doing this. That is not the culture of the so-called black man, as you're saying earlier. So we're trying to put back on our culture so that the children of Israel now don't, you understand, fall prey to the things that continue to how we stumbling basically. And we can't make, you know, the proper steps forward. Right? If you want to touch on anything,
yeah, you can. Even just after that, I seen a comment here. The saying here, the law was a tutor to Jesus Christ, right? And I like what they say now, the law was a tutor. Right? It's important to kind of touch on that because as we hear me talking about the laws, commandments, and statutes that the Most High has been our culture, that is for you to get the understanding, you know, to agree on this. Right? You continue tuning into the class in the ISUPK on the journal, right? ISUPK.com, right? ISUPK Trinidad, if you're from Trinidad, right? And you're going to understand the law, right? Actually, for the so-called black man, what is the expectation of Christ? Right? Christ actually come to make us understand how to walk in the law in a perfect man. Right? He actually implemented things that made the law even more difficult. Right? Like, for example, spend after women and so forth. Right? We could go into these things in the other classes, right? But I don't want to bring another framework that's important as we bring another law. Right? A lot of people, you know, treat Christianity to teach about religion and teach about heaven and so forth. But they want to go to a place called heaven, where there's peace, where there's love, where there's harmony and unity and so forth, right? And they want to go to heaven, and they want to go to heaven, and they want to experience heaven without law. You can never experience heaven without law. Law is what is going to bring heaven. Rules is what is going to bring heaven. Because when you look at these magazines, you see they try to print out with, you know, all this peace. Yeah, law is going to bring that. When there's law in place, just like we have on the streets today, right? The law states you're going to drive on the left-hand side of the road. When you reach that intersection, that traffic light, when the light is red, you're going to stop. When it turns green, then you're going to move forward. That is what is being established on the earth today under our King Yahushua. Law. Law is going to set order. Law is going to set peace. Without law, there's going to be chaos. And that is what is happening in the society today with the so-called white man, with our oppressor, right? There is no law. These things that has been made up by our oppressor, by our rulers, is not laws, right? These things cannot govern a society, right, effectively and efficiently to ensure that what the Most High wants happens on the earth, right? Because we see there are big movements being allowed to operate today, the LGBTQ, RSC, wherever it might be. All these things are allowed because there is no law. Now, when the so-called black man is in rulership on the earth, these organizations and groups will not exist because there will be law. So now there will be no child molestation, there will be no murder, right? No drug addiction and so on, because there will be consequences that is going to be enforced and implemented on the earth to ensure that these things don't spread. And that is what the law is about, to put the evil out of the land. Right? So now we're going to understand that there are repercussions for different practices and behaviors. You can't run around eating pork, crab, shrimp, and lobster. Right? These are laws to ensure that the earth is running the right way, the ecosystem will be taken care of, the trees going to be taken care of, the people going to be taken care of, because now they are laws. When we cut in trees, for example, right, after 7 years, the land have to rest. That law is going to be enforced. We're not going to have deforestation, right, and erosion. When a little rainfall, a whole mountain wash down and kill out a whole community, because the so-called black man is going to enforce and implement these laws on the earth. That is what we're trying to make you understand. So when we read it from this Bible in the Sabbath services and whatever classes, we are not dealing with religion. This is a constitution, right? This is a book of commandments, right? Laws that we should execute on the earth. And which bloodline the Lord has required to execute these laws on the earth? The so-called black man today, the so-called native Indian man, and the Hispanic man. This is the bloodline that the Lord has chosen to give his law to implement on the planet under our King Yahushua, who we call Jesus Christ in English, right? I just want to touch on that, right? I've seen some of the comments from Monday. So just to give a little understanding, right? So like, if
I may add to be saying it, because as you were saying earlier on, right, that the what you call it now? Gosh, I forget the but basically this. The world, as you're saying just now, the world has pushed an agenda, right? That is why it have the LGBTQ and all these different movements and elements, because they have an agenda to feel a particular way, but it's not the end result. They don't know what is good for them. But the laws are the most science, and as you were saying, what is you want to tune into, it is what it is good for our society, what is good for our people, to ensure, you understand, that really and truly you have the right mindset about how you're looking at it in the first place. Because from the time you think rules is a restriction, it is a freedom. It is not a restriction, it's really a freedom to really operate the way it's supposed to. Right? In like a factory, as you're saying there, the factory, you understand, to produce things in a free flow because of the rules that are put in place. It is there to empower. It is not to restrict, you understand, really and truly understand the restriction is really a protection. That is what you might see as a restriction. You don't watch it from a proper perspective because you don't understand it. And that is why these classes are very important for you to tune into and ask the question. That was an excellent question that they asked and all that too. You know, that is what we want you all to do. You understand, engage and ask, because we don't know. You understand, under the society, they just push the agenda. That is why these movements are just be available and on all of that and it's springing up. But if the wall is under one order, just as you know the traffic laws in them, I just say this now, you drive on the left side, you stop at the red light, all of that, it would not have a problem. Because when you road driving, once you're following them rules and everything is run smooth. So what is the problem with anything else? That is the problem with your oppressor. Your oppressor wants to bring in confusion. And he just pushed an agenda. He does not understand the value of this. That is why he gave up his vote right. Because he don't see it, you understand, as really and truly. You don't have sense, then you don't really have common sense. If you have common sense, you know, well, yeah, this makes sense. Let's do this. And that is it. All right. So, but after you, man, when you get a chance, if you want to add anything else, you could add, or you could just read on today. You know what I mean?
Right. Same thing. So for you now, do you sacrifice cow and sprinkle blood still? Yes. No, you don't. Right. Christ was our sacrifice, and he paid the price. For the Lord had commanded us to rehearse the righteous acts. All right. That is what we're doing here. This is supposed to be the grace period that the Lord have given us before he brings judgment on the earth, to practice the righteous acts. In other words, the things that they're supposed to do, the Lord has given now a window to practice these things and make these things become a part of our culture, right? So that is what we're doing here today, right? Rehearsing the righteous acts. Because when the kingdom of God is established, these are the same things that is going to become achievable. These laws, according to the scriptures, have been established forever. This will not stop. This is what is needed to run the earth. The reason why the earth is not disarray today is because these laws and these scriptures is not established on the earth. That is it.
So
Right?
I mean, I didn't want to cut you that tone, right? But I just, it's what the person was asking there, right? And it may come across, you see, they could be innocent in their question, they could really just want to know if we're supposed to cut, you know what I mean? But the real reason why that was implemented is for not to actually break the law. The certain laws is there, understand, to give you understanding that there is consequences that you don't want to face. Right, as Captain Desire was teaching on the class they go on there. We was never supposed to feel the wrath, that is the knowledge of evil, the wrath of the Most High. We ain't supposed to feel, okay, when you do this, there's the punishment for it. That ain't supposed to be what we're looking forward to. And then we say, okay, well, dear boy, I've got to cut, you know what I mean? It's almost like now you prepare to cut a goat neck and sprinkle the blood. As opposed to that, I don't want my water to do that. I rather give the goat to somebody else. Rather than I don't know, wasting life then because I don't have a value for it. Just like a man that is hurt animals, you know what I mean? That is your person. He doesn't get kicks to that. He want to shoot down an animal and he think him just for fun, for sport. But you don't have a value for life. Then the Lord wanted to have a conscience. He wanted to really and truly think about the things that you're doing. So these things that was supposed to be a hindrance from you actually doing that. As opposed to, yeah, boy, you understand? Really and truly, it hurt me. You understand? To go and kill that wolf. You know what I mean? When you really actually could be used, but you could have a much better use for it. But that is what you want to put back on the spirit that the Lord given you here. You understand? The culture, as you were saying before, your culture, you want to put that back on. That is what it is. So it's a preventative measure from you being a destructive person, a self-destructive person. Right? That is what the laws and then therefore to put that spirit on it. That is the vibe or the spirit of the Most High. He wants there to think like that, to operate in that manner.
So tune into the classes, ISUPK and Command and generally and they're going to learn a lot. All these questions are easy questions to answer, right? They will understand the things that the Most High required, right? Then within the scriptures they understood the sacrifices that was made from before, the Lord required that they kill a goat or kill a lamb or a sheep, and they also understood that there is a sacrifice that is going to come that is going to remove that practice of killing these animals. All these things in the scriptures. So these are things that is understood. They just need to be taught. And when that final sacrifice comes, which is Yahushua, which is Christ, right, there will be no more blood sacrifice. These things plain in the scriptures. Your Christian pastor just have not taught you the truth according to the Bible. He have tried to use the Bible for his selfish gain. Right? So we do not understand who the Most High is and what the Most High requires. Because the God that we have in our mind, that is not the God that is in the scriptures. This God have set things up. The God in the scriptures, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, that is the God of the Bible. The God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Choosing one particular people to do one particular thing to set things in order on the earth. All right, that is not the God that, as we see with grandparents, had on the wall behind the bed. The God that loved everybody, right? The Lord that is just snow. That is not true. Lord, the God we talking about in the scriptures, right? Kill more people than anybody else, right? He drum out the youth. You understand? When they have abominations in different lands, he give Israelites instructions to go and wipe them out. That is the God we talking about. We're not talking about Christianity, right? This is not the Christian church, and this is not a Christian service, right? This is here is to teach the blacks, Native Indians, and Hispanics what your God requires of you. That is the God in the scriptures. So
Once you go feel it, once you go feel the wrath of the Most High. That's why he killed all them people and to understand that hey, he's not something to play with. This is not a game. Understand some of that it can get real very soon, very fast. So just because understand the scripture saying execution, just because we call it what justice or punishment is not executed, you understand that you ask not to do it again. You know what I mean? You do some tap you out one time, you press a reset button. You follow all, you say your hands at the drop off over the case, you don't feel it's that kind of it's a play thing. That is why you do that, so you don't understand that this thing is very real. And you've been sold, you understand lies, our people have been sold lies, because your persona is you want to set up them religious institutions, all them churches and them mosques and all that. Because he don't want you to feel, you understand how you're supposed to feel, which is I don't do this because the Lord will kill me. So now he's putting up all them false pictures and then now to take money, right, to do this and to run around. But now he encouraging everybody to become sinners. So he know God is going to really understand, snap the way he could. He want to he can't, right? Basically like a shield. I would go on enough, to be honest. It come like that, you know. Your person now, he knows once we obey the Lord, as you just spoke about plenty, right? Jude chapter 5, it's showing that these people have always known throughout history. When the children of Israel doing what they're supposed to do, the Lord has defended them. And people that get touched up, all the people that really face it. So they know don't interfere with them once that. But here what the oppressor do now. He spread, you understand, he spread lust and all them things. He make all the gateways open so he can hide behind you. So it come like, you understand, we is like a whole force field, a whole shield, protecting he from getting the kind of judgment the Lord wants. Because we in the way, basically. You understand? We now come like a shield for he to do all this matters because he pushed that. So it's important for we as a people to understand, hey, we need to remove ourselves from that so the punishment is delayed as it's supposed to. Because this man who running the planet, he in charge right now is only because we not in the proper mindset and place we're supposed to be. We not following exactly what we're supposed to. That is why this continues. That's what it is.
Continuing reading from the book of Exodus, chapter 23, so 22 and verse 29. Kana, the eye, wa, lasha, raka, lataza, ana, shaba, aita, yama, yaha, aima, amawa, baya, wama, hawa, maya, tanawa, laya, laka, laba, tasha, laka, wana, atawa. Book of Exodus chapter 23 and verse 1. La'a, tasha, Shama, Shawa, Allah, Tawa, Yadaka, Aima, Rasha, Laha, Yatha, Aida, Pama, Sa, La'a, Taha, Yaha, Aha, Raya, Rabba, Yama, Lara, Ita, Yala, Ta'aina, Aila, Bara, Salakia, Rabba, Lana, Ta'ata, Aka, Raya, Rabba, Yama, Laha, Tata, Waya, La'a, Taha, Dara, Bara, Yabawa. Verse 4. Kaya, Tapa, Garat, Sawara, Aya, Baka, Awa, Kama, Rawa, Ta'ai, Haishar, Hashaba, Tasha, Yabanawa, Lawa. Verse 5. From 29, 30, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How much should I have on that? 31. No problem.
I understand that. Now, we no slack, you know, we to feel like no, be more. So these are the down be more.
So Peter verse 5. Verse 5. Kaya, Sarah, Aha, Kama, Wara, Sana, Aka, Rabataza, Takatha, Masha, Awa, Waka, Dalatha, Ma'ai, Aiba, Lawa, Aiba, the Aiba, Aimawa.
Book of Exodus chapter 22 and verse 29. Thou shalt not delay to offer the first of thy ripe fruits and of thy liquors, the firstborn of thy sons shalt thou give unto me. Verse 30. Likewise shalt thou do with thy oxen and with thy sheep. 7 days it shall be with his dam. On the 8th day thou shalt give it to me with one. Ye shall be an holy man unto me. Neither shall ye eat any flesh that is torn of beasts in the field. Ye shall cast it to the dogs. Chapter 23 and verse 1. Thou shalt not raise a false report. Put not thine hand with the wicked to be an unrighteous witness. Verse 2. Thou shalt not follow a multitude to do evil. Neither shalt thou speak in a cause to decline after many to wrest judgment. Verse 3. Neither shalt thou countenance a poor man in his cause. Verse 4. If thou meet thine enemy's ox or his ass going astray, thou shalt surely bring it back to him again. Verse 5. If thou see the ass of him that hated thee lying under his burden, thou and wouldest forbear to help him, thou shalt surely help him. Right? Now you see what the Most High saying, you know, them scriptures are so nice, eh? So heavy. Right? Because one, it's not from talking about how you should think about, understand the things that the Most High allow you to get for validation, right? You want to show some appreciation, right? By giving the first one, giving the best, understand how we have. That is spirit, right? So when you're giving back to the Most High, nobody gets to put out that spirit, they put in that excellent spirit, right? Because they appreciate, you understand what the Most High do for you. You did not get breath, you have to get nothing, nobody gets it, so your mind is like on that level. Right? And that would change the way they deal with people itself down here, right? The earth, I should say, right? Because that is what we're missing as our people, like that. The kind of enthusiasm or the zeal you want to have to, you know what I mean, do the right thing by the Most High and the people, right? Going down also. It's showing, you know, if you are a man have a bacchanal with body cases, to squash that, you understand, to make sure that that evil spirit indwell, you understand, among your people and continue to push. If you say, if you see the man, say, you know, people listen, oh, I call it them. In fact, two things. One, what we parents them used to tell me, if me and the neighbor have a phone, now you make sure and tell them one, or I'll take a cocktail, you understand? That kind of thing that I remember my father tell me that, mother tell me that. You know what I mean? Right? Them things they want to make sure and do. So now, if you see his animal going down, his dog or his cow or his goat over the case going on, you don't play like you see it and me talking to he and let me leave that alone over the cases. No.
So
right? So you want to make sure that hey, this is how I thinking. I ain't watching that, you know what I mean? Because me and he get away or me and she get away over the cases. I ain't looking out for them, or I ain't gonna tell them that they danger down the road and them kind of vibe. Yeah. So the Lord, this is what the Lord putting in place here, so that kind of tension, that evil, they ain't gonna spring up with you, know, they ain't want to kill one another, and they ain't looking out for this one if your house burning on fire. You know what I mean? You ain't saying nothing and you just let things slide. And them go deal with that there. No, you don't want to thinking as you want to thinking as a nation, as a people. Yeah. And what's so destructive and what the oppressor did with us, he remove us or to take away our identity. Because we would have known that people, this is how to live. You have to think as a community. You are not an individual. You understand? You're not to think as an individual, but you have to think as a community, as a nation, and levels in terms of how you deal with it. Because even if they say you are not person's enemies, nobody gets it, you know you just deal with them with a certain amount of wisdom, but it's not malice. You don't want it to deal maliciously with each other. You understand? So that evil ain't going to spring up between all and it will keep on getting worse. Keep on getting faster and keep on getting worse. And then you got 6, 7, 9, 8, 11, 4, 1, and all kind of madness. That's how to eliminate that. That's how to make sure that don't ever try, but ever get a chance to spring and develop it to what it is today. Are you?
All right, the book of Exodus, chapter 23, reading from verse 6. La'a, ta, tha, ha, masha, pantha, abaya, naka, mara, yabawa, the 7, mada, bara, shakwara, tara, kakwa, wana, paya, wataza, daya, kwa, Allah, taha, raga, kaya, la'a, ataza, paya, kwa, rasa, verse 8. Washa, kada, la'a, yakwaha, kaya, hasha, kada, ya'ai, wara, kakwa, kayama, waya, salapa, daba, raya, taza, daya, payama, wagar, la'a, tala, hataza, wa athama. Yada, aithama, atha, napawa, ragara, kaya, lara yama, haya yathama, ba'a rataza, mataza, rayam, verse 10. Washa, sha, shana, yama, ta'ai, ra'a, ra'ai, atha, aratazaka, wa'a, sapatha, atha, taba, wa, atha, waha, shaba, ya aitha, tasha, matha, naha, wana, sha, taha, wa'a, kalaw, aba, yanai, aimaka, waya, taram, ta'a, kala, kaya, kayat, asha, daha, kana, da'ai, waha, laka, ramaka, la'ai, yathai, yathaka. Verse 12. Sha, shatha, yama, yama, ta'ai, shaha, ma'ai, sharaka, shayaka, yaba, yawama, hawa, maya, aya, tawa, mata, lama, aina, yana, waha, washa, salakia, yawa, shawa, raka, waka, mairaka, waya, napawa, yapasha, wana, amathaka, waha, the wrath was in the end of verse 12.
Right? The book of Exodus chapter 23 and verse 6. Thou shalt not rest the judgment of thy poor in his cause. Verse 7. Keep thee far from a false matter, and the innocent and righteous slay thou not, for I will not justify the wicked. Verse 8. And thou shalt take no gift, for the gift blindeth the wise, and perverted the words of the righteous. Verse 9. Also, thou shalt not oppress a stranger, for ye know the heart of a stranger, seeing ye were strangers in the land of Egypt. Verse 10. And 6 years thou shalt sow thy land, and shalt gather in the fruits thereof. Verse 11. For the 7th year thou shalt let it rest and lie still, that the poor of thy people may eat, and what they leave the beasts of the field shall eat. In like manner, thou shalt deal with thy vineyard and with thy oliveyard. Verse 12. 6 days thou shalt do thy work, and on the 7th day thou and that thine ox and thine ass may rest, and the son of thy handmaid and the stranger may be refreshed. So like it, I just touching on the rest of it, right? You see, two things. Look how just the Most High is. Now we just always say this in the ISUPK six, right? A lot. We know the Most High is a just power, and really and truly, lots of Spanish and Native Indians, as you talked about earlier on today in the class, need to come back to obey these laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High because they're right and they're proper, right? Because see what the Lord saying: don't oppress a stranger, not a race that in there. But here what the others do. What the others do with us? When we in rulership, we don't oppress the poor. We don't oppress the other races. But when the other races in power, you know what they do? Oppress. They call it is all kind of different underhand thing with colleges and with finance and with that systematic oppression, left, right, and center. Everywhere you look, everywhere you turn. Under every nook and cranny is oppression under the oppressors and under the other races, which you understand, which show themselves to be oppressors. Right? I always say, because by the actions, I can't say that. I can't just come out and say, I can't lie on them and say that is not what it is. That is what they just do when they in power. But when we in power, that is not what we just do. That is why black man, Hispanic man, Native Indian man, woman, and child. You need to understand that this Bible here is yours. It's your record book. This belongs to you. This is your wisdom. As the scripture says, your understanding in the sight of the nations. Because in the sight of the nations, they know that all them to do is gravitate towards the lost. But we know what gravitate towards righteousness and do what is proper. Right? So that the world can run as it's supposed to. And hear what? When right now, we as a people, when we not oppressing somebody, the world falling apart. It's blowing up all over the place, all kind of madness going on. No, it's not the case. So why it is that you must do that? Why did you feel that to survive? Because you don't have this, you don't have wisdom. Again, black man, Hispanic man, Native Indian man, come back to what you're doing. We have classes 7 days around you. ISUPK.com, the number here 479-8286, right? I don't know where you're waiting on again. You know what I mean? I need to give you an invitation. It's up to you. So, you know that. Yeah, man, being righteous with a cutlass in your hand. But man, your person, how you don't go to the police station and say, give up all the guns? Why do that? When a burglar come in, you follow, here what to do. Here's what this is supposed to do. Here what a cutlass for and a gun is for. It is to prevent somebody from even taking God at the thoughts and doing something stupid. That's what it's for. So that the man will feel, you understand that you're not going to do anything. That's what it's for. Don't be a simpleton. Because when something happens to you, if crime happens to you, if it happens to you or your loved one, you don't want them to go and beg them, you understand, to behave themselves. You know you want them to do, you understand, to take the right course of action. Not to go and murder them over the cases. Jesus never used a cutlass. You know, you read the Bible. You know, Jesus used a whip. He bind up some whip and he cut its skin. You see all this. You see the preacher that lie to you, there is no price for that to tell you. You understand? You know, I should find you, if I get permission to, of course, I should find your pastor and find some work and bind it together and cut his skin. I will need that so that he can stop teaching all that dumb shit in this.
They say that's how Christ say. Sell your coat and buy a sword.
Thank you very much. That was Christ saying. That was everything the Bible is. It's some convenience. Right?
That Christian suit you have, you better
Sell
that
it.
suit and buy a sword.
Buy 2 cutlass. Buy 2. You buy 1. Buy 2.
Right? Because the days will forget that.
Correct.
Right? Sell that suit, come out of the Christian church and you say buy 2 cutlass.
Yeah.
Right? That would be the best thing to preserve your life and the life of your house.
Correct. Yeah, you don't care about nobody.
Because the most dangerous people in our now is the people in that pension. They see the community, they see where if we had some character, we had some rainbow character, we had, it would have been all good.
Yeah.
But this is the thing, even if that another person, it was in the comments here earlier, this is the thing what I don't understand. Most of the things that we spewing out as Black people, do not understanding, was worked into we during slavery. So we understand, right? This is a result of slavery and oppression from the so-called white man. So the things that we talk, we don't even take into consideration the things that we say, because we just regurgitating the thing that was forced in us and on us during captivity till now, over 400 years of oppression that's spewing out. And if this person that making these comments is not of the bloodline of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the so-called Blacks, Native Indians, and Hispanics today, is only because you desire the power of the so-called white. So any other blood, whether it's a Chinese or a white person, whoever making this comment, is because they just decide to suck up to the power of the so-called white. That is all what happening to. But we talking about Black culture, Black history, and what the Lord requires for us to do. Not how you feel, not how you think, or whatever the case might be. This is just here the Lord. This is not we sayings. We didn't come up with these sayings here. This is what the Lord requires, right? And that is as simple as it is, right?
So I always say the truth. When we leave out that, just leave out the armies. Rather than pass away to go with your weapon in your hand.
That's right.
The same cutlass you're talking about here. That's what the Bible says. But also, as the officer was saying there, you need to understand that what you was taught, you know, was open to you, and it's absolute garbage, absolute rubbish. You don't know the white man read the Bible. You don't even understand. This language here that we're reading from, this Hebrew there, the white man don't understand that. That is not his language. You need to just slow down. You have to slow down your speech. Be quiet and let come into class and ask the proper questions to get really educated. Because this year you're walking around and very destructive spirit. And if you're a man or a sister, you're telling me you're walking around with half them brain cells and them, you understand really function.
So, yeah. But like we always say, I think we talk about this in our class we're teaching last before we wrap up, right? A lot of people, when we start bringing out these things within the scriptures, they will be saying the white man write the Bible, right? But here it is, the Bible he write, he ain't using it. Right? He ain't using that. And the only reason why, right, the white man didn't try to totally eradicate the entire Bible is because to give him power, that position of power, to be a fake Jew, there is no other document he can reference to validate him being a liar, a fake Jew, right? Because the real Jews in the Bible are Black, and he presents himself as Jewish, as a Jew, but he cannot do that without biblical record. So now we will now being deceived to understand. What he did is manipulate the understanding of the Bible. And how the white man was able to do that? Most important is take away your identity, so-called Black man. As long as you read in this Bible and I do not understand that the men in this Bible that you're reading about is your family, you will no longer be able to understand this Bible. So the number one weapon of destruction is to take away the identity of the so-called Black man. Take away the identity of the Native Indians, which is the Caribbean Arawaks. Take away the identity of the Hispanics, which is the Venezuelans, natives, Puerto Ricans, Guatemalans, Haitians, and so forth. That take away our identity. So now when you read this book becomes a fairy tale. But as long as you have your identity and you can identify that you are the real Jew, that is in this Bible, Solomon, Christ, Jeremiah, Isaiah, Moses, and so forth, these are your forefathers. This book becomes alive immediately. You can see the things that happened to your forefathers by other groups of people, by other ethnicities, the wars, right? The famines, right? The sins, the good, the bad, and the ugly. You can now relate. Okay, this is what was done. This is what we did. This is what we shouldn't do. This is what the Most High requires of us. The book becomes alive. When you regain your identity as the real Jew that is in this Bible, that is what the so-called black man is. As long as you can align your self-understanding that you are the Jew, that is where your salvation begins. And the number one secret on the planet today is hiding the identity of the so-called black man, Native Indian man, and Hispanic man, woman, and child. As long as your identity is hidden, he has you where you ought to be. Even what some of the keep trying to push, black people is African. They will love black people. Let me tell you something. This our oppressor will love us to be Africans. You ever watch them African on them? I see some African on I think sucking some ice and they get them like a Pepsi to drink. The ones who had the name top name. Right? Yeah. If they bring you to believe that you are African and you so-called black man can fall to that state of being imprimitive, that everywhere you want. That is why they'll be promoting he is African. Use the bloodline of Ham. But no, you are the bloodline of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Jesus Christ is a big brother to all black people. He was the one that stood up and made that sacrifice for us to save us from our enemies and from the hands of all that hate us. You understand? You can find this in the New Testament. New Testament. Luke chapter 1, right? All the way down to verse 67. This is what we're bringing out to you here today, so-called black man. We bring in our culture, right, every week through every class to make you know who you are. Now it's for you to realize that it was deceived and you have a way to get yourself right. In the ISUPK under Commandant General has all the tools to build the so-called black man up to where he's supposed to be. This is what we're reading about in Ezekiel. Putting sinews back on your bones, putting flesh back on your structure. Can these bones live? That was the question at Ezekiel. Yes, these bones can live. Get into the ISPK under Commandant General Yahan, right, and live. It's a lot. Yeah,
right. Anything else you want to add there?
Not it's a lot.
Right. So again, let's talk about again, which means thank you for tuning in. Right. So again, like, share, jump on the questions, and when we not like nobody gets to ask any questions, don't afraid. That's what we here for. I tell you, understand exactly what's supposed to happen so that you know what I mean. Do this with somebody else. You can now show somebody else some love too. I mean, and let them know what it is. Yeah. You can do it have a way. How we the so-called black Hispanic and Native Indian man. Have a government for them. That's somebody that actually care about it. But go in back and say, well, you know what I mean? He say, forget them. Let's show them way now. You understand? You ain't just you ain't shooting the start from the middle of the book from 1490 something. Right? All right, so we come to the end of the service, right? And on your podium, which means stand and face the east, right? So till it's like do the whole lot of showers, right? Right, so which means the turn. Oh yeah, my bad. So, this is problem. Yeah, come. Right? So what again? We are classes from Monday, right? 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, the same thing, right? Those classes. On what do you call it? On Saturday, that's the way you tune into right now, right? Is Saturdays from 10 o'clock, right? Down to 12. Right, if you're in Trinidad, again, the location is Lamppost number 1, Morris Street, Point Fortin, Trinidad and Tobago. The number to the school is 479-8286. All right. If you're outside of the country, wherever the case is, you want to go to ISUPK.com, go to contacts or to schools, and you'll find the nearest school to you. That one number there listed for the school. So call in, right, and tune in wherever the case is. Again, you can share or you can leave your comments and questions on all the social media platforms here. TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook, wherever it is, understand? All right? So, right? See this one is so this
La Yashala, which means to Israel.
So for them, which means the face this one. Abanawa, Samai, Padas, Ya, Shamka, Hawa, Alakwaka, Zaka, Ya, Aisha, Arataza, Kawa, Ya, Shimai, Tandanao, Tom, Ka, Wom, Masalatna, Salatna, Ala, Sayawat, Bob, Shine, Ya, Ra, Ya, Ka, Malakwa, I will love you.
Amen. In English, our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. How thy kingdom come, will be done. In earth, as it is, Salakia. On earth, as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors, and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it.
Right? We pray for the power, Hebrew, Yahweh, Hashem,
Yahushai,
Abakasha, Tandanao, Aka, Rafa'a, Kamakala, Kamanawa,
Zarian,
Akoyam,
Matthew,
Alwakwa,
Mala,
Narshan, Shimyon,
Lord, in the name of Yahushua, please give us the power. Please give us the power to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease. The power to cleanse the lepers. The power to raise the dead. The power against unclean spirits. To cast them out. In the name of Yahushua. Thank you. So be it.
All right, pray to bless the show to us in Hebrew. Yahweh,
Hashem, Yahushai,
Rabbanawa,
Aishala,
Abaya,
Safarium,
Arak,
Hashem, Yahushai,
Warama.
In the English, Lord, in the name of Yahushua.
Lord, in the name of Yahushua.
Bless us and Israel and the school. Bless Salakia. In the name of Yahushua.
In the name of Yahushua.
Thank you. So be it.
Psalms 121 in the Hebrew. Asha,
Ayani,
Al-Hari,
Mayan, Mayan, Isaiah, Isaiah, Mayan, Hawa, Shah, Shamayam, Ratasa, Ayatan, Moa, Galka, Ayam, Shamarka, Na, Laha, Yawam, Ala, Shah, Shoma, Shah, Yahweh, Shamarka, Yahweh, Galka, Yamika, Yawam, Shamash, Alka, Maria, Yahweh, Shamarka, Arai, Shema, Nashpa, Hawa, Shema, Zaka, Gaka, Aita, in English, I will lift up my eyes unto the hills. From whence cometh my help? My help cometh from the Most High, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth Israel, he that keepeth Salakia, he that keepeth thee, will not stumble. Behold, he that keepeth Israel, that neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is thy keeper. Most High thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. The Most High shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. The Most High shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in from this time forth, even forevermore.
It Psalm 33 in the Hebrew, Alahai, Al-Damaya Lakal, Al-Takarash, Al-Tashqua, Al-Kayahanan, Al-Mayabika, number one, Mai Shinayaka, Shah, Barash, Alamaka, Arayamwa, Swat, Ya, Aitas War, Al-Wanaka, I'm a war. When I talk to them, Madawya, Ala'a, Saka, Shamashal, what? Ya, I get the war. Love the Kadwa, Ailika, Maria, Karahma, Ahalia, and the woman, Washamai, Alayam, Wa'aba, Wa'agari, Father, I'm a lot. Shah, I'm a shot. That's a war. Kamashu, Alawa, Imam, Sarawat, Panilawat, Salah, I shall the Madi, Asara, Yabit, Yashu, Samarwa, Ayed, Man, Adama, Shayatumu, Damaya, Nadaya Mawa, Iraq, Waka Haza, Tasaba, Salmanai, Tana Siyaka Mwa, Shah, War, Russia, War, Aknawa, Alahai, Alahaya, Shayatumu, Dagala, Wash, Panya, Ka, Ash, Fire, Wakalahaba, Talaat, Ariam, Kandaradakma, Sa, Fata, Tabalam, Ala'a, Anyam, Padawat, Pashwa, Shaka, Hawa, Pashwa, Yama Halwa, Yai, Power, Palwa, where the Roy, the Daiwa, Yata, Shamka, How, the Fata, after Alia one, Alkalha, Aratas.
In the English, keep not thou silence. Almost high. And hold not thy peace. And be not still. Almost high. For lo, thy enemies make it tumult. And they that hate thee have lifted up their head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden one. They have said, Come, Let us cut them off from being a nation. By the name of Israel, may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. The tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites of Moab and the Hagarenes, Gebal and Ammon and Amalek, the Philistines and the inhabitants of Tyre. Assyria also is joined with them. They have both Salakia, they are both from the children of love. Salah, one to them, as unto the Midianites, as to Syria, as to Japan, and the book of Kisah, which perish at Endor. They have become as dung for the earth. Make their nobles like Ori, like Zee. Yea, all their princes, as Zebah, and as Aluna, who said, let us take to ourselves the house of the Most High in possession. O my power, make them like a wheel, as a stubble before the wind, as a fire burneth a wood, and as the flame set the mountains on fire. So pursue them with thy tempest, and make them afraid with thy storm. Fill their faces with shame, that they may seek thy name, O Most High. Let them be confounded and troubled forever. Yea, let them be put to shame and perish. That men may know that thou, whose name alone is your house, art the Most High over all evils. Is that the ISUPK curses? Blessed are you, Yahweh. King of heaven and earth. And all things live. Yahweh. In the name of Yahushua. Listen to us now. Right now. And evils and curses. And punishment and destruction. To the heathen. That speak against us. Thy prophets. The teachers. The princes. The priests. The Israelite brothers. And the school. And evils and curses. And punishment and destruction. To the heathen. And shake loose. The treasure of the rich of Israel. And refuse to give to the school. Force their riches. To enter into thy sanctuary. And evils and curses. And punishment and destruction. To the Edomites. And the nation. And their drug dealers. And the court system. The prison system. Planned Parenthood. All the governments of our enemies. Amalek synagogues and armies. The Roman Catholic Church. The Pope. Islam. Christianity. Egyptology. Militia. Ku Klux Klan. Aryan Nation. Skinheads. Pussy Kumatazi. Gay movement. Lesbian movement. Spies. Workers of witchcraft. NASA space program. Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine, Wall Street, open up the internet, and the airways, the cable access channel, and the radio channel. Break the spirit of any of thy people that seek to stop us, and bring swift destruction to all the heathen that stand in the way, or try to stop us from casting your words to all the planet, whose all the plagues, cause them to go to and fro to the earth, and consume them. Let the plagues shake the house of the thief and the murder. I will shine. Michael and Gabriel from down with the flying saucers and punish all the heathen. Punish all the heathen. And come up against us as we speak thy word. Because it be known my own. As the angels that have done it. Cause it to be spread to the media, or the whole world. Cause them to shake at thy come. In the name of Yahushua. Thank you. Always. So be it.
So, right. And the visual, you're going to give a 1 salute. And the visual, I'm going to Shabbat. Watch him. Ra.
Yahweh Hashem Yahushua Rakata.
Going to keep sisters online and here. Salute. And the visual, I'm going to Shabbat. Watch him. Ra.
Yahweh Shabbat Hashem Yahushua.
Yamata. Smith. Sorry.